For decades, people have dreamed of technology that could transport them somewhere else. A teleporter machine that would beam them from point A to point B, just like that. But will this technology ever actually exist? And if so, what would it look like? I'm Marques Brownlee, and I review dope new tech. But on this show, I'm rewinding the clock to look at the tech of the past that we thought would be our future. This is Retro Tech Teleportation. Hey, what's up? MKBHD here. So I'm about to unbox something. Don't know what it is. It's clearly not a teleporter under this desk, right? Let's figure it out. Okay. Wow, that is a colorful box. Virtual Boy. This is a console. Interesting. Virtual Boy. Teleporters. Oh, is this a virtual reality headset? This graphic is so incredibly 90s, it's hard to tell what's going on, but I feel like I'm seeing a VR headset. And I guess if you're putting two and two together, teleportation really is, it's putting you in a different place. But in 1995, with a good enough VR headset, maybe that's the equivalent of putting you in a different place. All right, let's check this out. Classic 90s packaging here. Look at all those warnings. Carefully read this whole thing. Don't put it on your face if you're less than 7. May cause serious permanent damage to their vision. May cause epilepsy or seizures. Repetitive strain injury. Before playing, consult a doctor. Wow. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. What? Hey, it's red and black. Not bad, Nintendo. The tennis game. I'm looking forward to that. Batteries go in here. Close it. Snap it onto the back. Oh, man. I'd gone so long without messing something up. I remember exactly how I took it off, and it doesn't go back on the same way. I'm blowing my own mind right now. Should just slide down these rails. Okay, we got this. There you go. Looks like a 4-inch display, all red, dot matrix, Mario versus Princess. Okay, I got my backhand. Hit, I hit the ball back at him. The ball's coming back at me. Oh, I missed, and I am now losing. Wow, I'm impressed. Now, I definitely don't feel like this is teleporting yet, but if today's virtual reality is like the closest thing we have to teleportation, then this is the early version of that. But that's what we're here to find out. So let's get into it. First thing I'm gonna ask you to do is check underneath your chair.
Ooh, oh, for a moment.
All right. I don't know what I'm holding right now. I find it fascinating.
These would be, oh, it works.
I am holding a miniaturized teleporter.
That's fantastic.
Beam me up.
So I guess let's break down in its simplest terms, like what exactly is teleportation? What is this concept?
There's that famous expression, the quickest way from point A to point B is a straight line. And the idea of teleportation is no line.
You're being beamed at one location, being beamed to another. Like instantaneous, speed of light.
It's some sort of a device that you step into or step on, and then you arrive somewhere else on usually a matching device where you rematerialize on that side.
There are so many movies that have been built around the theory of teleportation.
You had Power Rangers that teleporting, but probably the most iconic representation of teleportation, the transporter in Star Trek.
Mr. Spock, prepare to beam Scotty on board.
Star Trek drilled home that this could be future tech. It's something that we wanted.
Beaming up. Notify transporter room.
Sort of around the time of Star Trek, we had landed on the moon. We felt like we were being very ambitious as explorers.
And the idea of being able to get someplace fast is something that we're all obsessed with.
As a viewer, you hear all of these science words. It seems like a thing that might be possible.
It uses trionic initiators in the warp core.
So who am I, as a 10-year-old watching this show, not to think, yeah, maybe they've got it figured out? Part of the promise of Star Trek is believing that we could get there someday.
But teleportation is one of those things that it's so far off as a technology to be able to achieve. And those things are possible only in science fiction.
So one of the most important aspects of a teleporter is it has to completely disassemble and reassemble you in the exact right place every single time. But what would it take on a physics level to build a machine with that type of accuracy? To help me understand what's possible, I'm meeting up with Kevin from Vsauce 2, who's known for breaking down some of the world's biggest complexities. Kevin, welcome to RetroTech.
Thanks for having me. I love your place.
What should we know about teleporters? What is actually possible right now?
Well, we're talking about teleporting like really, really, really small things like a photon. That's possible with quantum entanglement, which is crazy.
Fair. Yeah, I imagine a lot of what we're seeing in the movies is either an exaggeration of the little bit that's possible or just completely impossible.
We can't exactly visualize what it would look like if you were dematerialized down into atoms, so let's just pretend that you turned into light.
All right.
It's called the double slit experiment. It gets complicated. Try to stay with me here. Imagine our teleporter machine dematerializes you into these light photons. And these two slits represent the atmosphere pathways your beamed body will travel through on the way to your destination.
I am ready to see this.
Let's energize.
That is weird. Somehow it turns into a horizontal string of beads.
This is called an interference pattern. First of all, if you were to get into a teleporter, we don't want you to be that series of beads. It's not going to be a great result for you. If you were a light beam transported, you might end up in a scattered mess, which would be bad. But atoms act differently than light. So in theory, your atoms will be less scattered going through those pathways and easier to put back together. But when scientists did the same experiment with atoms, the stuff you and I are made of, they found atoms weirdly behave the same way. They weren't sure why this was happening, so scientists tried to observe the atoms, but when they pointed a detector to track the atoms, they changed their coordinates, meaning your atoms can act like both waves and particles when in motion. To this day, scientists have still no clue why, but just observing your atoms in motion can change their destination, which would be really bad for you, the person teleporting. It's like when you're playing Mario Brothers and you look at the boo and it stops, and then you turn around and it chases you.
The observation of it definitely changes behavior. Wow.
Yeah.
That does hurt my brain a little bit. So maybe we're still very far away from actually being able to teleport, but what if we could achieve almost the same experience without even leaving our homes?
By strapping on 3D visual display goggles, one can be immersed into new worlds.
The experience of virtual reality is similar to teleportation in that your body, your consciousness, your awareness was somewhere else, and instantaneously you are in a completely different environment.
All right, let's talk about the history of VR. How did this whole VR thing start?
You get into the 80s and 90s and you get the iPhone. No, not that iPhone. This was the I, so EYE phone.
You had an individual named Jaron Lanier who wanted to create a new type of instrument.
These are the special glasses called the iPhones. When you put them on, you're seeing inside an imaginary world instead of inside the physical world.
It was a giant headset, huge computer had to run it, cost a ton of money, but what you got was a virtual world that responded to your touch and what you saw.
And it was really the iPhone that helped introduce virtual reality as a product that you might have in your lifetime to the masses. Throughout the 90s, video games became more and more realistic, so that became a great first frontier for virtual reality to exist. In my malls, they had these VR arcade experiences like Dactyl Nightmare.
Truly cutting-edge technology, but to my eyes, these units still have a way to go.
But there was a problem.
It was making people sick.
Headaches, nausea, sweats.
Oh my God! I can't stay stable.
It's broken.
All types of things that are connected to motion sickness.
What early VR did have, though, was that it looked futuristic. It looked super high tech. None of them actually did much, but they looked cool when your friends came over.
So despite the technology being far from perfect, virtual reality headsets promise to immediately transport us to another world. So today, I'm joined by Jake from Game Ranks, and we're gonna test out some of the retro VR and maybe get a little dizzy in the process. This is Dope or Nope. First of all, Jake, welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me. Yeah.
Love when we have people back. All right, so we got this first thing coming to us from the year 1993.
I'm ready to get jacked in. So for sure. Let's plug ourselves in. Stuntmaster, virtual reality.
I already feel young because what does that phrase mean? First phrase in the marketing copy. Race the car, fly the jet, wear that shirt, confront, engage, fire.
Wait a second. Okay.
Yeah, this is a lot.
Race the car. Oh, I would like to. Cool. Sounds exciting. Fly the jet. Again, probably wouldn't be able to do that in real life. Wear the shirt. That seems like a big step down.
Maybe that's like a metaphor. Wear that shirt. Wow.
Okay. All right.
Whatever it is, we need to be in a mainframe.
Yeah, let's see it. Let's get the actual Stuntmaster headset going.
Whoa.
Attach the clip to the shoulder area of the shirt.
Wear that shirt.
Oh.
That's what it means.
All right, I'm just gonna put it on.
All right, you went for it. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Welcome to the real world.
Oh, I heard something. Super Mario World.
Is it actually 3D or is it just a screen in your face?
It's not 3D at all. It's honestly just a worse version of playing on a TV.
This is like the worst Game Boy in my face. Oh, my face hurts so bad.
Oh man. That might be the heaviest VR headset I've ever worn. Everything about it is pain. And so for that reason, I'm out.
A big nope.
Yeah.
Yes!
Oh wow. Segascope 3D system.
Look at the dad. Why is he's like, yeah, son, do that violence.
Yeah,
good work.
You can't see the 3D part, Dad. Why are you cheering?
Here is the phaser. Does it make a cool click like the Nintendo gun? No. Ooh. Not satisfying at all.
Huh.
Now the console itself. Look at that unit. It is 80s as hell. It looks like a car stereo.
Oh, you plug this into your TV.
This is very big. Why do you have this?
It's retro tech. You gotta have a TV. Start the game with the gun, maybe?
Magic.
Oh.
Wow. Do they feel like they're flying towards you?
It's not a very impressive depth.
Because they look like it here, but just in a flickering, crappy way. You did it. Good job.
City.
That's actually kind of impressive, if not for the rampant flickering that I know is making me sick.
Low-key, a little bit over-promising.
I think it would get old pretty fast, and I think it's too much hassle, too much setup.
Segascope 3D. That's a nope.
That's a big nope.
This guy, Virtual Reality World VR Ninja. It's a VR headset, and you are fighting another ninja based on your own moves.
Do you want to check out what kind of sensor they have in here?
Yeah, a little motion. It's a big sensor. You know what that's telling me? That's telling me it's a capacitive closed-circuit type motion sensor. Yeah. It's just a little metal ball inside hitting the metal outside of the thing, and if it touches, you moved. Touches the other side, you moved. Pretty simple. It's not an accelerometer.
You're so smart.
I was hoping for an accelerometer. So to me, this is the closest to modern day VR so far.
I need your guidance. Do you know how to fight?
Barely. Like I was a yellow belt in Taekwondo.
Nice.
So.
All right, cool.
There you go.
I feel cool now.
That fits surprisingly well.
Gmod?
I gotta look for the, power.
All right. I see. It just looks like a calculator screen. This
Does
is
it?
Not a good sign. Also, do you hear it's pushing down on my nose and I'm like talking like Squidward?
Dude, it looks like about 30 pounds on your face.
There's a time counting that and there's ninjas. Okay.
That sounds like it's working.
So unfortunately, it relies on sound. That's the only way I can know if I get a hit. Oh, sorry. All right.
I'm good. You're good.
Nothing's happening when I punch the men. I think I hate it. Oh my God.
Let's get in the game.
Good luck putting that on.
Oh my God, that is sharp. It's stabbing me in the face. I don't see anything right now.
You're about to see everything.
Oh.
Good stance. Yep. You're getting hit. Do it. That's a hit. Yeah, that's a hit. Yeah. There. Wow. All right. Wow. Okay.
I lost. VR-wise, this is the worst VR version. It absolutely does not react to the orientation of your head or anything.
Nothing.
It is the best looking one, though.
It is, yeah.
Verdict. It wasn't very good, and it stabbed me in the face.
Yeah.
So I still have to give it a nope.
That is a nope.
For the first time, we've given all nopes, and yet I still think we see, like, they're onto something happening.
Yeah. It just is a disaster.
So clearly, early VR gaming was not very good. The technology simply wasn't advanced enough yet, and most, at this point, had given up on the VR industry.
The year is 2012. Not that long ago, but it was long ago enough that people thought virtual reality was a joke. It was a punchline.
We all thought it was done. It made you nauseous.
But there were a few people that still loved VR, and one of them was a teenager named Palmer Luckey.
Virtual reality, people have been wanting it for a really long time. We finally have the technology to make it happen.
It used gyroscopes, accelerometers, sensors that we know very well from the iPhone, and the latency was super low.
The sensors, they're able to so quickly calculate in real time what should be there when you look that way. And that's what really tricked your brain into thinking that you're somewhere else.
And all of a sudden we thought for a second, hey, this might be a thing again because of head tracking.
And it was this idea that just by putting on this pair of glasses, these goggles, you could be anywhere. Really bringing it back to teleportation.
A lot of times with technology, we're not even conceiving of something that's just about to arrive. The day before the iPhone was announced, we didn't even conceive that a phone was able to do those things. So who knows? Maybe somebody's working on teleportation right now, and we're gonna have the ability to teleport.
So back to the original question. Is teleportation technology closer than we think? Well, to find out, I'm gonna speak with astrophysicist and all-around great guy, Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson, and hopefully he can shed some light on this and tell us if we're any closer to actually beaming up. Neil deGrasse Tyson, thank you for joining me. Would it be, do you think, ever physically possible to build this idea we've imagined of a teleportation machine?
I think central to the teleportation machine is the memory of how all of your molecules are configured. It's an information processing challenge. I can turn you into energy and then move that energy to the other place and then convert that energy back into particles. But I have to remember, I need the instruction set to reassemble you, because once it becomes energy, you've lost all of that information. So have we ever converted anything to energy? Yeah, we do that in particle accelerators all the time.
Like, you can reconstruct the same shape in a different place, but remembering where each molecule is inside that shape?
So let's go to a Star Trek style teleportation. So it disassembles your molecules, turns it into a beam of energy, reassembles it on the other side. All right, so is that still you? I have to say no. It is a copy of you. And basically you just divided yourself into two, basically cloning. Now, how do we turn that into you? What we need to do is not simply copy the molecules, you have to copy the neurosynaptic memories that you carry in your brain's molecules, right? So boom, it disappears here, shows up over there, it is there instantly. So that all your particles will disappear simultaneously and then show up in another place. I don't know how to teleport memories that exist in the static molecules of your brain. If you could do that, then I'm convinced we are moving you from one location to another.
Do you think if virtual reality can get good enough, that maybe that's enough to satisfy that part of our curiosity where we wanted to transport just to see cool things? We'll just sort of put the headset on and be there.
We've taken baby steps in that direction, but if you could smell the air and feel the breeze and watch the birds fly over it, maybe that's sufficient. You don't know whether you are looking at an image or reality. At that point, I don't think it matters whether you actually go to the Grand Canyon. And then you can just change where your location is. But does it matter that it's real? That's a different question. The knowledge that it's real seems to matter to us. You know, what is real? And what did I sound like Morpheus? What is real? How do you define real? If your brain is everything, then traveling doesn't matter. We'll just inject it in you. That could come.
Well, that's really deep. Thank you again. I love your shirt.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's actually it's a vest. I've got about a half dozen.
That's beautiful. All right. So after all that, it can feel easy to get pretty down on ever witnessing real life teleportation, which I get. But I love this switch that we flipped, where instead of teleporting ourselves from point A to point B, the tech that turns out makes a lot more sense is bringing B to A instantly.
It's powerful. And that is now the new future that I'm really looking forward to. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.